Hello and good morning. Welcome back to two retired guys in a podcast. My name is Naresh. That's my buddy Paul. We look at everything retirement. So here we go. Cheers to everybody. Yes, coffee first. So we're looking at several things today, where people who are about to retire, whether you're 3 years or 5 years away, or people who have retired, that they should find how they can be fine tuning their finances a little bit just to make sure everything is going okay, kind of thing. So first thing that we're looking at is the timing of your. First of all, I truly believe that everybody should have a certified financial planner, unless you are a certified financial planner yourself, and maybe then still you should have somebody for objectivity, right, Paul? So
Yep.
everybody should have a certified financial planner to begin with, because this is your retirement that you're talking about, that has to last 30, 40, 50 years, possibly, right? Maybe
Yep.
maybe, depending on when you retire. So, when do you start? The thing, Paul, is when should you start meeting with if you haven't retired, when should you start meeting regarding thinking about planning, retirement planning? When should you start meeting with your certified planner, your financial planner?
Well, like I would meet. Well, if you don't have one, depending on when you're going to retire. But I always, as soon as you start investing, at least talk to someone and pick your financial advisor, and you want to, refer some from your friends or something, if whoever they have. And I like to meet at least once a year. Some like every 6 months, which is great. Or if there's any change in your financial situation, but you want to do that, like you said, you don't want to do it too close to retirement. You want to plan. So retirement's not just a, you know, uh, do it one time and then you retire like in 4 weeks. You want to lead up into that, so you want to plan, right? So, um,
Exactly.
so I like meeting every year, once every 6 months. Some like to do it every 3 months, just to see if they're on track, or if any life changes like inheritance come in. So whatever, it's just someone there to help you along the way. It's like going to a dentist. You don't do it yourself, but you do the
Exactly.
maintenance yourself, right?
Yep.
You go to a
Yeah.
doctor, you have a doctor, you do your maintenance, working out, eating right, but then you visit your doctor. Is everything on track, right? So
Exactly.
when you're meeting with a financial advisor, you know, give you some guidance. Okay, yes, I set up pre-authorized checking things. I'm investing monthly or yearly, or you keep doing that and then check in with your advisor. Are we on track? Are we too risky? Are we too conservative? I'm not going to retire for 25 years, so I don't want to be in something that's low, right? You might want to have some
Exactly.
growth. So yeah, it's just having somebody to keep track and meet with them regularly, like any other
Exactly.
profession, right?
So, I mean, if you're 3 to 5 years from your retirement, 3 to 5 years away, then you should definitely start meet up
Yeah.
with your financial planner and say, these are my goals. This is so they will know how much money you have, how much money you'll have coming in, and you should know what most likely at least you'll know that. You may not know all of your expenses until you retire, actually.
Yeah.
You should know somewhat before, but you
Right.
definitely, it's good to know what your income levels will be when you're retiring.
Right. Because, you know, um, you're going to have different avenues of your income, right? So you'll have possibly RSPs, TFSAs, non-registered accounts. Then you'll have your CPP. You'll have old age. So all this, you know, you want to kind of organize all that. When are you going to take when are you going to take these things? Because there's different
Exactly.
variables, right? You can take your RSP anytime you're ready to retire. You could take your TFSA whenever you're ready to retire, draw from that. CPP, you have a limitation of starting it at 60 or waiting. Old age starts at 65. So it's all these timing things that you want to kind of say, hey, when's the best time to take all this? And that's why you want to
And
meet with
again,
someone.
as you said, as you said, like, use dentists as an example. You do things yourself, so you can, let's say, once you have retired, you can, keep an eye on your expenses, keep an eye on your income. Of course, you'll know that. Keep an eye on all your expenses. That's your own thing. Make a spreadsheet, whatever. And there's,
Yeah.
there's software out there now that can help you track everything. So you can do that and work with your financial planner as well. So these
Yeah.
everything goes hand in hand. And our next point, then, I was going to look at something, but let's say next, when you're looking at all of these things, next point that comes in really important is, your taxes. When you're looking at withdrawals from your RSP, withdrawals from your TFSA, any other accounts, non-registered, registered, whatever it may be, there's tax implications to everything, even after you retire.
Yeah. So, yeah, so you know, RSP will be taxed. TFSA is not, so that's a good avenue. Non-registered would be taxed. Your CPP's taxed, your old age is taxed. So that's why it's important to figure out, how much you have in your RSP when you want to withdraw it, how much you're going to withdraw out of it, because eventually the RSP has to turn into a RIFT, and then you have to take a certain percentage minimum,
Right,
of that, which will be taxed. So, say you had $1 million and you're taking out 4%, then 40,000 or whatever that's your tax. You're going to be taxed on
right,
that amount, which is not
right,
large, in the end, but that's where you want to balance it out, right? Then you have your CPP if you're taking that, old age if you're taking that. So that's all taxed, and then you have your TFSA that is not taxed. So it's all these little, I call them buckets,
right,
buckets of stuff to, like, which bucket you're going to draw from first, and
right,
what's the
right.
tax
Yeah,
implications on that.
that's
Normally,
a
when you
good way of looking.
retire, everything is hopefully paid off.
Yeah,
Kids are out of the house. You don't need as much income, right? You're not driving to hockey. You're not spending this.
yeah,
You got two mouths to feed,
yeah,
maybe at home.
yeah,
Not your kids are on their own.
yeah.
So your income should be less because you require less in retirement.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And most
Yeah,
likely it will be less because you don't have the paycheck anymore, right?
right.
So obviously the income is going to be less. So whatever, setup you end up having has to be discussed with somebody who's an expert, as we said before, a financial planner, because they can point out the tax implications of everything, whether it be capital gains, whatever it may be, whatever taxes you'll face from you withdrawing
Yeah,
from your RSP. When should you withdraw it to best minimize taxation, maximize money coming into your pocket, and all
right.
that to
And that
be.
doesn't
So these are the
include
things
having a pension, right? If you have a pension
that,
and you've built up a little bit of RSP and you have TFSA, like, you got so much coming around that, yeah, you want to organize all that. Like, how much do I
yeah,
really need monthly? And you can estimate roughly, like, if you're within a 3 to 5 year period, you can rough estimate what you're going to require at, you just say, well, I'm not going to have this expense, and break it all down and say, yeah, it'd be roughly, I need about 4 grand a month. Well, then you kind of, because it's always changing, right? Every month is
yeah,
never the same every month, right?
yeah, yeah,
Bills are never the same each month, but you can have a rough
yeah.
estimate. And that's
Yeah,
why
you can
it's
have
good to
a
have a TFSA on hand. If you need extra income, you pull that and it's tax free, right? So it's all that
exactly.
kind of, all that playing, right?
Yeah, because you may have attend a wedding. You might have birthdays coming up. Christmas comes up. This comes up. Where extra money is required. So you may have set up a core expenses, but then you have to have some extra money, and so you have to figure all this out so you can take money out of your RSPs, but that's where the tax implications come in.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
sometimes I think I get this feeling from talking to other people that people are not necessarily looking at the tax implications. They don't even have it. Some don't even have a financial planner. They're just kind of winging it with their spreadsheets and this, and that's not really an objective look at things. You're not really
yeah.
being objective. You know,
Well, you just,
where
yeah, you want to plan, right? It's like planning for anything. You go on a trip, you plan. You go,
yeah, exactly.
you plan for stuff. You want to, renovate your house a little bit. Well, you just don't go, boom, I renovate. You plan. What do I
Yeah,
want? What do I need? What supplies? Who am I going to use? Like, there's always planning. And
yeah,
one of the biggest things in life that it's like people plan what 18 months into a wedding for one day, but yet your retirement would be
Absolutely.
years,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they don't take one day to plan. You see?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
so true. So true,
yeah,
Paul. Yeah.
right. So like retirement planning is ongoing basis, right? Because things change, right? Your retirement goals
Yeah.
may change. Say, oh, you know what? I want to take an extra trip a year. Well, what's that going to look like in retirement? Well, I'll need a little bit more funds. So yeah,
Well,
like
this is it. If you
you got to
people haven't
plan.
set up a people haven't set up a TFSA and all they have is RSP, and you start taking money out of that for extra trip, extra this, extra that. There's tax implications to that. You're going to pay tax on that.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if you have a pension and you have a large RSP, then you're gonna, you got to watch because, if you have a pension, then you may want to open a spousal RSP for your, so if your other significant other doesn't have a pension, then there's
Yeah.
another perfect example of, they you get the benefit, but they get the money, and so they draw down on it at retirement, and they're paying less tax. So it's all those little things, right? So
And
definitely.
Paul, I guess tax implications are a little bit different if you're a single person, one person, or if you're a couple. Then tax implications are different. So this is where it's critical to have a financial planner and a good accountant as well. I guess
Yeah,
sometimes financial planners are
because then you can
accountants.
do
They
some income splitting too, right? If you're a couple, and then you can lower the taxes that way. That's why it's good. Yeah, good to have professionals that are assisting you.
yeah,
Like I said, you got dentists, doctors, even if you had a fitness trainer, he gives you guidance. You go work out on your own. You do it, and then you
yeah,
meet
exactly. And you
you,
have a
you meet
plan.
next
You have a
week. You do
plan.
another one, right?
Yeah,
You see how
you can
progress is
set up a plan.
going,
They,
or a
yeah, they can set up a
nutritionist.
plan for you.
Yeah, you meet with a nutritionist every so often.
Yeah,
They give you a plan. You go execute the plan, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
for
yeah,
to for anything to be a success, whether it's your retirement, whether it's your health, whether it's anything, your vacation, your wedding, whatever. Somebody's getting married. You got to plan. Otherwise, if you don't, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. It's so true.
yeah,
So those are two great things. And the last thing that we'll look at, I've seen some people, the markets right now are a little bit jumpy, and they're getting a little, they pull, start pulling money out when the markets are, going down, and that's the worst thing you can do. Or they start pump, when the markets are at the highest, and oh yeah, okay, I'll pump in whatever. You gotta make like dollar cost averaging, Paul. Compounding. So can you
yeah,
explain that to some of our viewers? Dollar cost averaging and compounding.
yeah. Like so, it's just you got to watch all the noise out there, right? So there's all kind like news is at our fingertips constantly, and the U.S. says something, and it's like, oh, the markets are going, and you gotta, again, this is the plan. So you got to stick to your plan. I plan on retiring in 10 years. Well, the markets are going to fluctuate daily and weekly and monthly and yearly. But if you look back 100 years, it's always kept going, right? You're going to have its
Yeah,
dips. Okay. That's
yeah,
part of the planning. So, you know, if it's going to dip, well, then stay in it. I'd put more money into the market, put more in, and then
yeah,
it's just going to come up. And if you're just dollar cost averaging, it's just if you're putting money in monthly, it's just you're buying every month. So if you're buying when it's
yeah,
low, perfect. If it's a little bit higher, you're buying. So you're constantly buying as the market's doing its thing, right? And that's
yeah.
part of the plan too. You're budgeting what and stick to it. You may want to increase it. You may want to, but never take money out of the market because you're the fear, right?
The
It,
fear. Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
it'll look at April's a perfect month last year. It was it dipped like,
yeah.
and then all of a
It
sudden
went right down.
the next
Yeah,
month it
yeah,
started coming back. So if you see the dip and you're going, oh, I want to pull it out, you can never time the market. Just
yeah,
stay
yeah.
in the market, right? So and that comes with a planner, hopefully helps you ease uh you know that fear. But
Yeah.
again, the end goal is to stick to your plan, so you're not pulling it out. And again, when you start drawing off it, you're still not pulling all of it out, right? So
Yeah,
if you had
yep, exactly.
100,000 at retirement, it's not like, okay, I'm retiring, you pull it all out. No, you start withdrawing some funds monthly
Yeah,
to live on, and it stays in
that's
the
right.
market, right? Stays in
Yeah,
the market. You may change it to your risk tolerance to go a little bit more conservative, a little more balanced, maybe, and you were maybe growthy or more aggressive when you were in your working years, but now you want to maybe a little bit more fixed income, but you're still in the market. You're just drawing a bit off it, right? You're not pulling it
yeah,
all
absolutely.
out, right?
Yeah.
So again, yeah.
And people
So
shouldn't be, Paul, especially once you have retired, they shouldn't be looking for these, the next Netflix or next Amazon or the next whatever, because, most of them, that it just doesn't work out.
yeah,
A
it's
good,
tough
good,
unless you're
yeah,
reading a lot. You got to read their financial statements, but if you have a little bit of cash and you want to play with in the market, go ahead. But it's use the money that if I lose this, I'm still okay. So
yeah,
you're always chasing that because no one I don't think no one spends enough time if you're playing in the market. Like these financial analysts, like they're analyzing every day. That's why you trust them
yeah,
with your money.
yeah,
They know what they're doing. If you're with Fidelity or AGF or whoever, they have people behind the scenes doing this 24/7. So when the Asian markets open up, they're up. They're
yeah,
working,
yeah.
right?
Well, this is
And
it. So that's why it's
markets
important to have a
continue
financial planner.
all day.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
keep your portfolio. A financial planner sets up your portfolio once you retire for a conservative part of it as well, and not and very aggressive. And you may want to do that. Oh, you know what? Still got 30 years to live. I'm just going to shove it into this, and hopefully it'll go up by 100, 200, 300%. It's not. It's not going to happen.
yeah,
Trust.
just
It's not.
diversify your portfolio, and that's why if you have
Yeah.
somebody, they help you do that, and you know you can always tweak the plan, right? You can always tweak
Yeah.
it. So
Exactly.
it's it's just again, the key word is it's your plan. This is
Yeah.
your like everyone's different. People are like you can't look at the neighbor and say, "Oh, what are you in?" and stuff. Like his plan's probably totally different,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
plan. It's
Absolutely.
what you want to accomplish in retirement. What do I need? Focus in on that. And again, you know, plan, plan, plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen. So those are the 3 points, folks, that we wanted to look at today because those are really important, critical points. Because your retirement is going to be 30, 40 years long, and we want it to be a happy, peaceful, stress-free retirement because that's what everybody deserves after having worked 40, 45 years.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I would like, we really would like you to tell us how you've handled all this. So make sure you put comments in our comment section. Make sure you put your thoughts in there, how you've handled things. Um, so thank you very much for all of our subscribers who are here and watching. And if you just happen to stumble along and are watching us, please like, subscribe to us. Please, it doesn't cost you anything. It helps us out with a little bit with the algorithms. So please like, please subscribe, please share with your friends because with your retired friends who are in the same position. And please put in a comment, turn on your notifications, and it was good seeing you guys all again. And thank you very much for being here. And we'll see you the next week, same time, same place, same channel.
See you
Take
later.
care. See you later. Bye bye.